Hello everyone, welcome to Johnny's NetSec YouTube channel. In this video, I'm gonna use Tenable Nessus to show you how to execute a compliance scan to your database. Previously, I had a few videos talk about how to install Tenable and how to execute vulnerability scanning, web application scanning. I was using Tenable Nessus Essential version. Unfortunately, Essential version has some limitation. It doesn't support compliance check. The compliance check is something to check your system configuration against those popular standards such as CIS benchmarks, PCI, ITIL, HIPAA. Tenable Nessus is well known as their vulnerability scanning capability. But actually, compliance scanning is one of the most important features as well. The reason why is even your system doesn't have any vulnerabilities, it doesn't mean your system is configured properly. A compliance check will tell you how your system has been configured comparing to those popular standards. I'm gonna use Nessus Expert version, which does support compliance check, to show you how we can configure this kind of scanning, how easy it is to configure it. If you don't have Nessus Professional version or Expert version, you may look at one of my old videos to figure out how you can get one to install on your virtual machine and then play with it. For now, let's jump into the configuration and let me show you how we can create a compliance check against MySQL database. As a demo, I'm gonna use one of my virtual machines in the cloud to install MySQL database. It's gonna be one line of Docker command to bring this MySQL Docker up and running. Then we can use Tenable Nessus to do compliance check. Here is the public IP. I already opened port 3306 to internet. So as you can see, this allow any MySQL inbound. So this inbound rule gonna allow our Nessus scanner to scan it from anywhere on port 3306. I already SSH'd in. For us to bring up our MySQL Docker, just one line command. I already have Docker installed. If you haven't installed Docker previously, just using apt command to install docker.io. I'm gonna paste this command in. So our Docker gonna run it on port 3306. The Docker name's test-mysql, and the root password is the one for us to log in. If you want to use in different account, then you have to follow Tenable's guidance to grant proper permission for that account to execute the scan. And we're gonna use in MySQL 8.2 this version. Since I already installed it before this time, I don't have to pull the image. That's how simple you can get your MySQL Docker ready for testing. As mentioned before, I'm gonna use Tenable Nessus Expert, this version, to configure compliance scan and execute a compliance scan to our MySQL database. So this is the one I did before, and you can see total 55 compliance check, and there's only quite a few of them passed. Most of them failed or has a warning sign. To achieve this, of course, we need to have connection from your Tenable Nessus system to the MySQL database. We're going to use MySQL shell to verify that before we can start it. So we want to make sure we can connect to our database from our Nessus. So we're going to use command connect, and then we're going to put the SQL database IP. It will gonna ask you the password, of course. If everything goes well, you have opened firewall port on your network security group. If you have bring your Docker up and then the port is right 3306, then you should be able to see this message, save password. That's the confirmation you have connection. So you don't need to save it, just enter. Then by default, you are not saving your password, but you will get a confirmation. Server version 8.2, MySQL community server. That's important for us to do audit check. Since we verified the connection, now we can start to configure it. To configure a compliance scan, it's the same as you do the vulnerability scan. Just create a new scan. You should be able to see this policy compliance auditing scan. You also can do cloud infrastructure scanning, audit scanning, compliance audit scanning. Of course, PCI also included. You can do internal PCI or you can do external PCI quarterly scan. Those are PCI requirement. For today's scan, we just do policy compliance auditing. We're gonna do test MySQL compliance check. So we're gonna save it in the compliance folder, and the target is our MySQL DB's public IP since we put into the cloud. No other changes on this tab, but you do need to configure credentials. Keep that in mind. Whenever you do compliance scanning, it has to be authentication scan, and it has to be certain privileged scanning as well. So there's a categories. Since we are doing a database, we can choose database, and then here we can choose different type of database here. You can do DB2 or Oracle, but we're gonna do MySQL. So authentication type is password, since we are gonna using root and password. This is important to put right credential in. If you don't want to use your root account, then you have to grant your normal account this select permission. I'm gonna use root account for this setting to make things simple and easy. The second thing is compliance. You can search MySQL compliance. There's quite a few built-in MySQL compliance audit file for you to select. You also can upload a custom MySQL DB audit file. If you couldn't find your right version, probably you need to download it. We are using 8.0. If you couldn't find 8.0 from this list, you then need to go to Tenable Audit portal to download the MySQL file. So here you will find all pre-built MySQL audit file for 8.4, 8.0. So we are using MySQL Community Edition. So we are not using Enterprise Edition. So that's important. And also there's 2 levels. So this is the one we're going to download, say as 8.0 Community Database L1 version 1.1 is L1, and we also have L2 as well. So we're going to search, this is L1, we're going to search for L2. So as you can see, there's a Community Database L2 and L1, both are here. So we can download those and then import them into our Nessus system. So we do upload and we add file. So I already download both of them, so I can add both of them in, open. You can do save, compliance, configure, MySQL. Just add another one. You can add it multiple one here. Upload another one, add file. We have level 2, we just add level 1, and then we can save. Now you finish the configuration. Here is our last step. We just need to launch the scan. There's a launch button at the end. So this is gonna launch test MySQL compliance check. You can click in to see the process. Now it shows running. Based on my previous testing, it only takes 2-3 minutes to finish one compliance check for MySQL database if your network connection is good. So I will come back to show you the result after 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, the scan has been completed. So from 345 to 348. That's our host. So the compliance result, we have 20 failed, 21 warning, and 14 passed. Better than the one we did before, but still there's quite a lot failed here. You can click in to see the solution, audit file, output. Based on this result, you can pass a report to your database admin for them to check to see if there's anything they can change to make this configuration to be more compliant to the standard which your company is following. So that's pretty much everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please give me a thumb up and also subscribe my channel. See you in my next video.